Welcome back to Saturday Social. We are joined by Fuad and Faisal. Right, Joe, a lot of chat this week about the strides that players like Antoine Semenyo and other players are doing. So it gave us an idea to look at the most improved players in the Premier League, because there's been a few.
There's been loads, yeah. So we're going to go through position by position, building out what our guests think is the most improved Premier League team of the season based on the start of the campaign versus last season.
Yeah, so not necessarily best players, best team, but improved.
Yes. So who's improved in goal? Let's start with your goalkeepers. You're both going to bring a name to the table and debate it out. So who do you think has been the most improved goalkeeper at the start of this campaign?
I went with Nick Pope.
I think that's a really good shout, given that Trafford was potentially arriving and then Ramsdale came in.
Exactly. This season, they were looking to get a new goalkeeper. Last season, he got injured, and Dubravka as well. Dubravka, whatever.
Yeah, Dubravka, yeah.
He was starting. He was starting a lot of games last season, over when he was healthy. This season, Trafford was looking to sign. They signed, of course, Ramsdale, but he's kept 5 clean sheets so far this season. He's been very good, even on the ball, which was his biggest liability. I think he's getting better on the ball. I think he's massively improved compared to last season.
Most clean sheets of any goalkeeper.
Third best save ratio, I think, as well, this season, Nick Pope.
This is a rogue shout.
Yeah, go on, explain.
You know what? This makes no sense.
Forgive me, because I know he was at Strasbourg
last
year. He was playing well, but it wasn't the ideal move I feel like he wanted. I think he obviously wanted to be Chelsea's first team goalkeeper. I think coming to Brentford now, it's an upgrade on Kepa. But I do agree. Bournemouth, sorry, yes, he is an upgrade on Kepa. But I do agree. I actually think Nick Pope is actually a great shout.
Because best save ratio of any keeper in the French league, and he also, I think, got Strasbourg's player of the season. So it's a bit of an interesting shout when he had an amazing season last season.
When I was looking at the keepers, I was like, there's not many keepers
I'm
that
going to shout out
improved.
someone I think is a glaring obvious. Robin Roofs at Sunderland, 3 clean sheets in 7 games, signed from NEC in the summer. And also the reason he left is because he wanted more game time.
Yeah.
So he wasn't being utilised as much. He's been one of the standout keepers, I think, of the season. You ask any Sunderland fan who's been one of the key players in their start to the season, and they would say the keepers. I personally think that's a glaring omission for the Sunderland keeper.
Critchley will love that. Critchley will love that.
Doogie will love it, yeah.
Let's put Nick Pope in, though. Yeah,
Right.
load him up.
Pope in goal.
And we'll go to right back, where there's another rogue shout from Fuad. There's a player being brought to the table who's
Speaking of Sunderland,
every game at centre
I've
back.
gone for Mukiele, who can play at right back and has predominantly played most of his career.
this
Season he has, but he can play at right back. And I think last season was at Leverkusen on loan. I think he only made about 10 league starts, but
15 appearances last season.
And 10 league starts. But this season he's coming and he's the bedrock of that defence. He's looked so solid, winning every duel that comes in. And I feel like, similar to what you were saying with Roos, it's that backline in front of him as well. With him, Adulter, there's a couple of guys in that team. Xhaka in front of them as well, screening. But he is a bedrock, in my opinion, in that team.
Urinton was amazing last season, man.
The reason, just hear me out. Hear me out. Last season, he was competing for one of the best right-backs in the league. So far this season, the jump that he's made so far this season, he's competing. For me, he's been the best right-back in the world this season.
Better than Hakimi?
Him and Hakimi.
better than Hakimi.
Him and Hakimi has been wow. Him and Hakimi has been the 2 best right backs in the world this season, and this is what I'm talking about in terms of the improvement. Last season we weren't looking at Jordan Timber as the best. Last season he was competing with Trent, he was Reece James as the best right back. This season we talk about him as the best in the world, and this is the improvement he's made. I think this season the overlap in him and Werner in midfield, I think he's the most intelligent right back in terms of in the final third. What he does when he inverts the midfield, second to none. I love him.
I think he's good, but I don't know if that jump is as big as like someone who's gone from basically being a bench warmer to being the bedrock of a defence.
If we had to compare,
He's a centre back playing right back as well.
I think there's a glaring omission here as well. I agree, Jordan Timber's been amazing, but I think he's been consistently good for Arsenal. Obviously, Michele plays centre back and right back. I think there's a glaring omission with a player you could have put left back or right back, which neither of you have picked in either. So I can mention now is Jed Spence. He's a player that wasn't even in Tottenham's Champions League squad originally last season, had limited game time last season. He's now an England international.
But I feel like in the second half of last season, he was almost undroppable. And he was quality all throughout, both playing right back and left back.
Yeah, comparing him
he's
to the start
almost
of last
carried
season.
that form into this season. So for me, it wasn't like you improved. You just carried on what you were doing.
But look at where he is now. He's starting for England. He wasn't in the England squad last season. He wasn't.
But Smith, if you're looking for improvement,
and Porro and Udogie were nailed on in that early part of the season.
But if you're looking for improvement, this guy went from being one of the best right backs in the league to one of the best players in the world in his position. That's improvement.
I think he was a contender, especially towards the back end.
We're looking at centre back
for being one of the best fullbacks.
You like trying to tax it.
I think it should be Mukiele. Even though he's out of position, Sunderland fans were aware he's a centre half, but he has played it right back at times.
Okay, let's do centre backs. Let's do this one there's a Bournemouth player I believe that you agree with first. So let's talk about him. And I think Senesi's a good shout because what I like about bringing him to the table is Bournemouth, again, decimated three of their best players leaving for PSG, Liverpool, Real Madrid,
And the
respectively.
goalkeeper, Kepa.
And the keeper, great point. Their back line completely decimated. And look at where they are now still.
And he was someone who was
And he's a
regular
big
for
part
them
of that.
before that, yeah. And obviously we've seen Huijsens and Zaberni were almost like the new kids on the block and the new shiny toys. But this season, the partnership he's formed with Diakate, I feel like he's the more seasoned leader back there as well. He's been absolutely quality. I think 3 clean sheets so far.
Is the Serbian teammate that he's got next to him. I forgot his name. I forgot his name.
Yes, fine.
The Serbian, the 18-year-old kid which they bought. He's been pairing with next to them. Bro, he's been so good this season. I think in terms of any player, in terms of improvement from last season, it has to be Senesi. I think what he's done this season is second.
Total agreement, so stick him up. Now, there's a disagreement in your second centre-back, so let's reveal who you've gone with.
Chalobah versus Mike
I've gone for Chalobah. I think Chalobah's gotten a rough ride over the last couple of weeks, obviously with the red card. He had 1 or 2 bad games, but I think all in all, he has actually been really good. And I think someone who's very underrated, comfortable on the ball, I think wins his duels, defensively very sound. And every time he's been called upon where there's been big injuries in that Chelsea backline, he's come in and plugged the gap very well, in my opinion. But he's always seems like he's on this short lifeline of if he makes one mistake, everybody wants to get him out of the side. But I think very underrated, in my opinion.
I disagree with this one. I think for me, it's Mike Thiaw. I think last season, he wasn't the best for Milan. Milan fans celebrate the idea they got 35 million from him. They made a party about it. We finally sold him for 35 million. Ever since he got that cameo against Barcelona, which he did very well against, the last 4 games in the Premier League, he's been sensational. The game against Forest, his ball progression, I think he's got. I read a stat the other day. He has got the most ball progression of any centre back in the Premier League so far this season, which is second to none. Like, I think he's been so good for. Which is, if you make an improvement from last season he wasn't even that good for Milan, and Milan fans were happy. They sold him. Look at him this season.
Bear in mind, it's not Joe and I's picks. It is based on the best argument. I think he's done his research there, so I think you take that.
Okay, Malik Chow goes on the board. I mean, him and Botman already look like a perfect partnership, don't they? Let's go to left back. I think there's an agreement in that left back slot.
This is an easy one, I think. Nick O'Reilly is basically making the left back position his own, I'll be honest. I know Jed Spence, of course, but I feel like Nick O'Reilly was playing in midfield, Carabao Cup games here and there. He's first choice left back this year, and I think the fullback areas have been somewhere where City have struggled. They obviously signed Ait Nouri, who got the big injury, but even in England now, that position is there up for grabs, and I feel like Lewis Skelly last season made a claim to that. But now he's stepped into the midfield. Could Nick O'Reilly maybe sneak that in before the World Cup?
Yeah, it's a good point about the improvement aspect, which is why we're doing this. 4 Premier League starts already this season, only 6 Premier League starts in the whole of last season. So he's someone that Pep is utilising a lot more this time around.
And last season he played different positions. He plays a midfielder, defensive midfielder. Sometimes he plays a right back.
But I think Pep likes having those players that can operate in multiple positions. He loves having those. Look at John Stones and how he's operating with various other players and Gvardiol. I think he likes having that option.
Exactly.
But total agreement. So stick him down. Now, Joe, there's a lot of disagreement. We're playing a 4-3-3, fluid 4-3-3, I'd describe it. I don't think, is there any agreement in the midfield 3?
I don't think there is any. So let's start with maybe a slightly more defensive option.
One, yeah.
Okay.
For me, I went with
Palhinha. I mean, he's been playing as like a 10 this season, though, hasn't he?
Have you not got Palhinha, by the way, as a Spurs fan?
I don't. I don't have Palhinha.
He didn't start last season. Bayern Munich didn't even count for him. Vincent Kompany didn't feel like he suited his system because they needed a lot more of a ball progressor. For Spurs this season, you guys are the Spurs fans. For me, he's been one of your best 4 players so far this season.
I think he's been, I don't know if this is a bold, I think he's been one of the best signings in the Premier League in terms of bringing a player in and what they've done, how he's impacted. Third most tackles in the Premier League this season. 2 massively important goals. Last minute against Wolves, against Man City as well. And also, he does something that no one else in that Spurs team sort of really does in breaking up play. I think he
specialises in that. He specialises in kind of breaking up the game. The defensive side of the game, for me, he's one of the best in the world, in my opinion. Listen, I didn't want to be biased. I had Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. I think, Chelsea.
Good shout as well, by the way.
He's got to eat Kieran, by the way.
Shout,
unbelievable at the start of the season.
Been incredible. And do you know who he reminds me of a little bit? Scott Parker of yesteryear. Didn't do well at Chelsea, but every other club he went to was a a reliable linchpin in midfield for West Ham, Fulham, and he reminds me of that. Was key for Leicester in that Championship season, and I think now at Everton you're going to see him shine again.
Do you know what? I think in terms of this is based on improvement and both experiencing lack of game time last season. I think these are both two good shouts. I don't know if there's a way you can get them both in.
You'll hear my next two selections will make this guy go away.
I think you're really
I think
harsh
very
on
good.
Keane.
Should we do the next two then and work
Let's do
out
the next
where
two,
we?
yeah.
Let's see, don't start putting names on the board. I want to see your other midfield options.
Because there could be a world that they could both get in.
Yeah,
there could
let's
be a
see
world
them
they could
together.
both
The
get in.
next two,
So you're pitching Grealish as a midfielder.
yes.
Now you've got just without
you have Grealish later,
You've
don't
got
you, but as a
Grealish
winger.
later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got
Okay.
Mason Mount and Yassin Ayari. Yassin Ayari last season, you looked at him, but Brighton fans weren't too happy with him. They felt like he was taking too many touches. So far this season, you can make a strong argument. Not only is he the best Brighton player, but he's the best midfielder. He's been better than Baleba this season. I've watched a couple of Brighton games, and I think he's been a standout every single game. And so far, you can ask, I checked a lot of Brighton fans what they say about him. They feel like he's been the best player so far this season, which is a massive upgrade from last season. And in terms of Mason Mount, I think United fans can confirm, like, Mason Mount was injured, didn't play a lot last season. In this new role, yes, I think he's playing not in the midfield, he's playing more as a 10 behind, of course, Sesko, but I mean, last game, because you saw it, Sesko's back and he's still playing. Sorry, Cunha's back and he's still playing. I feel like the way Ruben wants to play and the way he wants his 10 to press, Mason Mount has to
I
start.
think that's something that has kind of followed Mount throughout his career, isn't he? That whatever coach utilises him, loves him.
Yeah.
Like he can follow out a tactical plan to the letter, and the fact he's back fit, he's obviously been massively improved on last season because he wasn't fit enough to play. You've got Enzo. I think he's a really interesting shout.
I think Enzo has massively improved this season. I think Chelsea fans are starting to finally see the Enzo that they really wanted when they paid all that money. And he's someone who I think has struggled to find his feet, but Maresca has found a new role for him. He's tweaked it a little bit. He's a bit more of a box-crashing midfielder, you almost feel like.
Okay.
And it seems to work. And Lavia, I think, coming back fit as well. You saw a glimpse of that in the Liverpool game. I think him and Caicedo as a double pivot behind him just gives him that kind of license to really get the best out of him, because I do think he has been misused a little bit in kind of deeper positions. But now you're starting to see, and I think this season, we could see a better version of Enzo.
I think we saw glimpses of the towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
How good he can become. But if I had to pick a
But this
honest,
season it's more consistent.
I agree. If I had to pick an honest midfield three, I would pick Palhinha, I'll pick Dewsbury Hall, and I'll pick Yassin Ayari.
You know what? I can rock with that.
Okay, there we go. Total agreement.
Some agreement.
Stick him up.
I like it.
Dewsbury Hall,
I think.
Palhinha.
We didn't really mention him, but you brought him to the table there. You've got him. Look at the state of this. layout.
Sorry, apologies. I'll sort it out.
What's he doing?
No, the worst thing about you put the DM on the left hand side.
Yeah, I mean, I've not thought about that.
You put the DM on the left hand side.
All right. I'll take it. Just so you know.
There we go.
Does it look pretty now?
Okay, let's swiftly move on.
There we go.
Sorry to all the viewers for witnessing that.
But
You won't get that time back.
I think we've got a player you mentioned briefly there. Let's quickly chat about
yeah,
Jack,
we've got to
shall
talk
we?
about Jack.
Yeah.
So you had him as a midfielder, but you've got him in his natural position, who's kind of playing on the left a little bit more.
4 assists so far this season. I feel
Yeah.
like he's one of those players. You have him in a team that loves him, that adores him, especially Everton. That makes the environment makes perfect sense for him.
Yeah,
Look
I
what he's doing so far this season. Of course, the
Perfect
goal,
move for him, isn't it?
Perfect
Yeah.
move, the perfect environment. A team that loves him, the players respects him, and he can do whatever. He's got the freedom, which is what he wants. At City, I felt like that was taken away from him, from Pep. Moyes has basically said, "Here's the keys. Do whatever you want from
I
him."
think some players thrive when they're in almost like a smaller, they're the big fish in a smaller pond. And I think he is one of those players at Aston Villa, and even here, the systems are almost kind of catered to get the best out of him. And you see that here at Everton. He's got the freedom and he's playing with
Do you
confidence.
think he's going to go to the World Cup? Because I think there is still debate there, isn't there? He's obviously in incredible form, but you know, Rashford's got, I think, 7 goal involvements in 8 games. Very different style of winger. Gordon, very different style of winger. I think these players that want to run in behind, off the ball, clearly appeal to
options.
Personally, I think his profile, I think you need this kind of profile in your team. Yes, I know Gordon, I think, will be the starter in the World Cup next year. I think Gordon's going to be a starter. Rashford, of course, the start he's having, but I think his profile is needed, especially in those late games where you need a couple of good fouls in different positions. You got Declan Rice that can take them better than anyone else. You kind of need it.
Should he be in the next England squad for you?
Really,
should he carry on like this?
Yeah, if he carries on, I think that's the important thing. Is the consistency, isn't it? And obviously, World Cup was still only 8 games into the season. I feel like there's a lot of competition in those areas, so it'll be tough.
Who's your left winger you've got?
Left winger.
I had him just to make it clear. I had him right wing, not left wing, because I feel like I had to put Grealish in there somehow. But my left winger, I think, has made a much bigger improvement than Jack Grealish, which you'll see.
I don't think we can have Grealish
Right wing. That doesn't make sense.
And
He's
you had
never
him
played
in. Where did you have
Who
him?
was your left winger there?
My left wing was Minte. And
Your
for
left
me-
winger was Minte.
Well, he could play both sides in my opinion. I've seen him play there for Brighton. But the thing is with Minte, I feel like last season he was very...
Minte hasn't played left wing. Oh.
He wasn't very effective in my opinion. I feel like this season he's almost got a bit of decisiveness about his game and he's deciding games and his ability to beat a man is almost second to none, I think.
I'm a big fan of Minter. I'm not sure that I think he's been consistent. I think he was
agree.
good last season as well.
I feel like last
I
season he
agree.
was
I thought he was-
inconsistent.
Well, I don't know.
This is bad to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a right winger out here playing left wing. You've got a left winger you want to put on the right wing. Who
Yeah.
did you have as your left winger?
My left winger.
Can we just put Jack Grealish in the?
You know what?
No, because
I think we can find a balance here. Actually.
Faisal's got a different left winger though.
I think, hold on, I don't think you do that yet because I just seen that.
You can't put him right wing. He
Don't
cannot
do
go
that.
right wing.
He's not going right wing.
Hear me out.
Who's
My
your
left
left winger?
winger is Doku.
Speak on Doku then.
Doku, the job. This is what I talk about improvement. Jack Grealish, I think, was good. And so far this season, he's
I'll
been
put
very
Minte
good.
away. I
Jeremy
apologise.
Doku, last season, City fans were saying, why is he here? City fans were saying, can we please get a left winger? Rodrigo, Leao, Cavara, somehow, just get a left winger. The improvement that he's made so far this season has been second to none. Wow. He has made City fans trust him. I think he's been more decisive in the final third.
Yeah.
Last season, you felt like he was a bit headless of a chicken in terms of just too many dribbles for no reason. So far, his dribbles are with intent, and he knows what to do in the final third. His IQ has improved massively. Him and Haaland has been two of the best players for City so far this season.
So who's more improved, him or Grealish this
Jeremy
season?
Doku.
I think Grealish is obviously more improved because of he's probably starting from a lower level. I feel like his confidence was shot. He wasn't playing any minutes, whereas Doku maybe was getting, and he was inconsistent last year. But I feel like Doku is actually almost developed like a killer instinct this year. And yeah, I'm not even.
Doku
I'm happy
went
to
from
put
someone
Doku up.
that is not wanted to now. Tell me a better left winger than Doku in the Premier League this
Antoine
season.
Semenyo?
You did that pretty quick.
Also, Jack Grealish won Premier League Player of the Month. So Jack Grealish, he won Premier League Player of the Month.
gave it
and
3
had less
seconds.
games time
Alex
than Doku.
Semenyo, Semenyo.
Stick Grealish. Grealish has got to be in this team.
Well, put Grealish
Premier League player of the month on the left.
Premier League Player of the Month.
Who's your
Stick on
right
the
winger?
left.
You want the right?
My right winger I have is Mohamed Kudus.
He was good last season.
No, he wasn't. I feel like West Ham
Stick
fans.
Grealish has got to go up. We have to have
West-
Grealish.
Yeah, stand up and you can put it
Go on, Kudus. Talk about Kudus.
I think Kudus last season, West Ham fans seemed like they were happy and felt like they got a lot of money for him in terms of the 55 million. But since he's come in for us, he's dropped basically Brennan Johnson, who was our top goal scorer last year, scored in the Europa League final to get the winner.
The 1-0 against Man United to make us Champions League.
You know what I mean?
That one.
We don't forget. We will never forget. But Kudus has come in
Sorry,
and almost.
mate.
It's like a new lease of life, honestly. 1v1 ability. He could beat 2-3 guys at a time and got his first goal on the weekend, got a couple of assists already as well. I love him.
Helped by the fact
Okay.
he's probably the only right winger that's
Most successful dribbles
my
in the
boy
Premier
out
League this
there.
season. 1 goal, 4 assists in 7. Had a brilliant start to the season, which just leaves the front man. I think there's agreement on this.
Nice.
He got Thiago. Come on, it has
I think
to be. It has
Igor
to be.
Thiago, look, he was injured last year, missed
Yeah.
a large chunk of it, came back late in the season and didn't really quite look up to it. But so far this season, he looks hungry. He looks
hungry.
like he's got time, he's got things he wants to make up for, and some of the finishes against Man United.
Finish, the left foot finish.
Wow.
That might be one of the best finishes I've seen. That
And
one
of
of the
course, for
best.
perspective, like he had 2 injuries. He came back early from his injury and then had a game and then was out for the second half of the season. So a very difficult stop-start season. So this is really the first time we're getting a true reflection of him, and I think it's a really good shout.
Yeah.
I like his partnership with Shade up front as well.
Stick him up.
Oh, okay.
Got the same
Stick
one.
yours up. Okay, so
Okay.
is there
actually
any?
not bad.
Is there any? But you think is missing? It could. We've had Jordan Henderson. Throwing the name out there. I
Jordan
think he's been
Henderson's a
incredible.
shout, but I do think Palhinha has maybe played a little bit better. I wish Doku would have made it.
I don't know, man. I
yeah.
feel like we're making a massive mistake in here. Like
Not having
not putting Jeremy Doku, who's for me has
It's
been.
your board. If you want to take Grealish out and put the Premier League player of the
I'm
month,
happy to keep
out,
Grealish
put
as well.
Doku
That's the thing.
No.
I'm happy to keep Grealish as well.
There's no way we can do an improved 11 and not have Jeremy Doku, who's made one of the best improvement.
Well, let us know what you think at home.
Yeah, let us know. I mean, if you
You
want
want to chuck Madueke in the mix as well?
Oh yeah, Noni Madueke as well.
Yeah.
I think he's a
we go.
contender. in
Well,
that
let's
right
see
wing
what you
spot.
think.
But there it is. There is confirmation of the boys' most improved Premier League 11 so far this season.